Client relationship management tools are a must for any business. Whether you are a mid-size, small, enterprise level company, it doesn't matter. Keeping all of your contacts and your deals and your activity tracking all in one place is crucial to the success of your company. And so that's why today I'm going to be showing you how to build out your own lite CRM inside of Asana. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Marquis and you've landed on the #1 channel on YouTube for all things related to Asana, process improvement, and project management. Now, when it comes to CRMs, you're probably already very familiar with tools like HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive, Close, High Level, and so many others. And so if you're after more robust activity tracking, lead tracking, automated emails, automated workflows, then definitely check out one of those tools. But if you don't need all that power and you're really looking for a simple way to manage all of your sales activity, then this lite CRM inside of Asana is for you. Let's get into the demo. So what I've got here is a series of projects. I'm going to walk you through them high level here really quickly so you can really get an understanding. So starting off at the top, I have this contacts project. And so everything really just stems from this team. And I'm going to take some time today. We're just going to build this out together so you can see how I kind of think through this. And then I want you to keep in mind how you can apply this in your own company and your own use case. But inside of our contacts project here, I've just got the task name. I've got an assignee and due date, which we actually won't even need. So I'm going to remove the assignee and due date for now, but we've got a contact email address, company name. So these are 2 text custom fields. And then we have a few single select fields, one for company size, annual revenue, the location, the industry, and then the contact owner was a people or a person custom field that I created. And so what I'm going to do first off is just kind of talk through the different ways that we would even get contact into the CRM. So once you've got your baseline custom fields, there's a few ways you can do this. Obviously, we can go in and we can create a new task, right? And we can put in person name right here. So let's just do one because I'm a fan. Like at gmail.com. I don't know if that's how you spell it. Sorry. Maybe including the warehouse was about 50 people. And I don't know what the revenues were. Scranton, Pennsylvania. Industry, manufacturing, let's just say. So there we go. We've added a contact to our CRM. It really can be that simple. Now you can take this to another level and you can convert whatever this is, whatever you want your standards to be. Maybe you want to add in some information here that you would fill out later on. We can always convert this to a task template that you pull from. And so adding contacts is as simple as deploying the new task template. And then there you go, you've got your new contact in there. A third way that we can do this is by using forms. And so I've got one form in here and it's pretty basic right now. So I've just got, the full name, email address, company name, location, size, all of the same custom fields that you saw there earlier. And I've included a new one here called How Can We Help? And so this, when filled out, will just go into the task description. Now, keep in mind, when you're using forms, you can go one of 2 ways. Either the salesperson or the deal owner can be responsible for filling out this form and getting that information into the CRM, or you can take this and this can be an embedded form that is now on a website or some other place that is public. And then depending on the information you need the recipient to fill out, you would just change some of these fields. But for this example, I'm going to be pretending that I'm the salesperson and I'm filling this out because a new contact is joining our pipeline. And so I'm going to add in a couple more custom fields for us so we can start to get a feel for what this could look like in real life. So I'm going to create one called lead status, and it's going to be a multi-select, and I'll show you exactly why once we get there, because we're actually going to be creating this contact database. I'll tell you now. We're creating this contact database as the main central hub for all contacts, all information And then from here, we will have a deal pipeline. We're going to create a newsletter, subscriber list. We're going to create an active client list and a former client list. And so you want to have everything in one spot so that you can simply stem it from there. And you're going to see how multi-homing will really come into play. So here we're going to have a new lead, and then we're going to have an opportunity like so. Active clients, no order. Obviously, I'm just putting in some different options for us. Event registrant, because we might want something like that if we start doing different events. We have a partner, vendor, and then a nurture stage as well. All right, and let me just spell that correctly. There we go. So I'm going to add that in there for us. Before we move on, I'm going to show you one more way that you can add contacts to your CRM. And so I've shown you the manual route, whether it's just typing it in and creating a new task, going the route of creating a task template. We've seen forms. And one thing that I've done for some customers is just set up a simple Zap. So if you still do want to integrate this into other tools like Gmail or Outlook, you can simply set up a Zap. So in this case, I've stated that when there's a new starred email inside my email address, then it will create a task in Asana, and then it will add it to that relevant project. So here we are in the System Builder Academy, Asana instance. It's going in the contacts project. And then we have the name of the email sender. We've got the subject and the body. And then the contact email is going in the email custom field. So that's one of the ways if you did want to add some baseline automation and clean up your email, tracking and your sales tracking activities and make it more streamlined. That's one of the ways you can do it. So let's get back to it here. So what I'm going to do, we've got our 3 contacts here. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to update this form and just test it just to make sure that it's working. And so we're going to go in, and full name is just going to go to the task description, but we want to make sure that when the form is submitted, there we go, that the full name is what actually gets added as the task name. Now for email address, we're just going to go and add these to our different custom fields that we created. It's going to go to company name. Location, we'll go to a location, perfect. Company size, we'll go to company size. We've got different drop-down options there. And then annual revenue, there we go. Industry, I'm just going to select all of these. And then how can we help? We'll go just right there. I'm also going to add in the one that we just created. And that was a multi-select. And it was lead status. So again, this is the case where we are the salesperson and we're putting in the leads ourselves. There we go, and make that required. So now I've got this form. Let's just test it out. We're going to view, and we're going to fill it out, make sure it works. So full name, Taco, the dog. Taco's laying here right with me. Funny story. Where we used to live, there was a puppy that was the same age as Taco and lived right behind us, and her name was Belle. Yeah, I know, very funny. Why can't I spell? There we go. Company size, there we go. We've got some annual revenue here. Industry, healthcare, how can we help? I need help with services. And then this is a new lead, and I know that they booked a call, so I'm just going to go opportunity. There we go. We're going to submit that form, and we're going to see it's already been received. There we go. So that's great. But now we obviously want it to do a little bit more for us. When it's submitted, we want to make sure that it goes to the right place. So I'm simply going to state that any tasks that are added to this project will go to this section, contacts, just like so. So as this starts to fill up, you can kind of see what's happening, right? So within this view, now we've got company size we can filter by. I'm going to move lead status over here actually. We've got lead status that we can filter by. We've got company size we can filter by. We've got annual revenue we can filter by. And there's an industry as well. So if we did go up to filters, right, we can come down here, and if we want to see everyone that's in the $250,000 to $500,000 range, we can simply do that, and then it will filter out all the other contacts. So remember when I said this is going to be our central database and we're going to pull everything from? You have an option here. So depending on what your use case looks like, you can have it so that your contact database is everything, and you use filters to create these different views to pull the information you need. You can also take it a step further where, like I'm going to show you next, you can create different projects that you then multi-home all these different stages to based on that filtering. So again, you've got a choice to make. Play around with it, have some fun, but it is totally up to you. As things do progress, right? Like if you have a finite number of clients or donors, let's say, you can make the company name a single select field rather than a text-based field and filter on that. Then you can create another project where it's just company names, and now you can have all of the people. Maybe you have multiple contacts for one company. It's not just one person you're talking to. Now you can filter all of the people within company ABC within a view as well. So there's really no limit to what you can do. It just depends on how manual you want to be with these processes. So great. We've got some stuff here. New contacts get added. Great. We've got some basic automations running for us, and then maybe we can assign it a contact owner. Let's just do that. So we're going to assign all of these. I'll just do it on the same one. There we go. We're going to assign these to, who do we want to assign it to? Why not me? There we go. So now we've got this. Now the next thing we want to do here is move some things to the deal pipeline. So these are all new leads that have come in. Maybe they haven't booked yet. We can see we have one opportunity. And in my world, I use HubSpot. When someone books a call with me, they automatically turn into an opportunity. They are a deal that I'm now tracking. And so I want to see what stage they're at in my sales pipeline. I don't just want to see all their information here. I want to see where they're at and how close they are to buying from me. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create another rule within this project. We're going to do a lot of rules from this project. So I'm going to state now that anyone who is lead status, opportunity, the action, we're going to add them to another project, and they're going to go to the deal pipeline under either new lead or call booked. So in this case, I'm going to put them under new lead just for fun because it's already right there. So now as we are going through and we're doing our sales activity, anyone that I select as opportunity, Asana is going to do its thing right there, and then it's going to move to the deal pipeline. So now we can see Marquis Murray is at the new lead stage. And as we move through call booked, right, we can now add new rules and comments or other actions, right? So this can be assigned to a new person. I'm just going to add a new comment. And I'm going to use one of the variables that says that the task or the rule triggerer in this case, there is a new sales opportunity. Start researching for the call, just like that. So I'm not going to go through all the different kinds of rules. I have lots of videos on how to create rules, but just think, as you move through the stages, how automated do you want this to be? How much do you want Asana to work for you versus you having to do all of that different manual upkeep? Right? And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a few more custom fields because we had some inside of our main contact view, but in the deal pipeline view, we want to see a little bit more. When we click into the task here, we can still see all the custom fields that have been carried over, right? But none of these are really related to the deal itself. And so I'm going to go in, I'm going to create a few others. Let's go in, let's add some custom fields. And now I'm going to create our different deal stages. So I'm gonna call this one deal status, like so. And basically all the stages that we had earlier, we're just going to update those. So new lead, call booked, qualified. So again, whatever your stages look like is what's going to make sense for you. Closed won, closed lost, and then we'll have one called unqualified. There we go. So we've got some custom fields there that we can now play with. There we go. We've got deal status is coming in. It's going to be in one stage at a time. So maybe one of the rules in this section is when it moves to call booked, we are going to add the deal status as call booked, like so, right? And then we can now manage all of our different fields. So I'm going to add a few more for us here. This one is going to be called deal amount because we want to know how much the deal actually is. So that's going to be a number. And we're going to do it in dollars with 2 decimal points. Great. I'm going to add that in because why not? And then we're going to go products as another. Maybe we want to have all of our products easily pull from the CRM database. So product 1, let's just do a bunch of them. 2, 3, 4, like so. And then I'm going to have another one just called close date. And we're going to pull in a date custom field there as well. So now we've got all this different activity. So we can see within our main task, let's just add in some information. We've got a deal status. It's in the closed book section. The deal amount is $5,000. We've got product 1 and product 3 that they're purchasing, and the potential close date. I'm going to give them, about a month here to close this deal out. So now we've got all this information here in the deal pipeline. And as you know, right, moving them in another project is independent of the originating project. It's not going to affect the stage that it's in within contacts, even though there's only one section right now. But as we move through here, right, we can move to qualified, we can move to prep proposal. Maybe when we've even sent the proposal now, we go into the stage where we're following up. We presented this proposal, we're waiting for them to sign and say yes, but they have questions. They have to bring the proposal to their board or their senior leadership team, and they have to gain approval. Maybe we're in the procurement stage and they are going through legal review and adding you as a vendor. There are so many different variables that can happen within this stage. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new project. All right, so I'm going to go create just a blank one, and this is going to be called, what should I call it? I'm going to call it my nurture list. There we go. It's going to be a board like so. I'm going to start adding our new tasks to it. So now I've got a stage where I can do follow up email 1. Let's copy that. Follow up email 2. And then I've got follow up phone call 1. Copy that over. Follow up phone call 2. And then I've got follow up email 3. All right, this is a lot of following up. So I'd recommend creating some kind of lead nurturing sequence where there's specific emails or scripts that you're using, right? And then I'm going to create one more for break up email, right? Because sometimes things just don't work out and we need to go our separate ways. So let's get back to our deal pipeline and move nurture list up there. And so now we can state, great, when it gets to follow-up, it's what stage of follow-up are we in? We're hoping that they'll just go to closed won, but again, that doesn't always happen. So we're going to add a rule that when we get to follow-up, it's going to add to another project. We're going to multi-home yet again, right? And it's going to start off in whatever stage we're at. So maybe we actually started in follow-up 2 because we've already sent them an email with the proposal. We've already, tried to check in with them, and they didn't get the email or they haven't responded yet. So I'm just going to move it back into our follow-up section here. There we go. Asana is doing its thing. And there we go. It's now been added to the follow-up email. And again, when we move it through here, it does not impact the field before. Once we get to a place that makes sense, maybe after, follow-up 3, maybe I'll just have closed 1 here as well. I'll do the same thing. I'll do closed 1 and closed lost. Right? So we were following up and they finally say, all right, let's do it. Let's go for it. So now we can move it to here and then we can add that rule that says, you guessed it, we're going to update the deal status, completion status. Nope. Let's go back in. There we go. When it moves to close 1, we are going to update our Kazi, I just need you to clip that part because I didn't add the custom field here. All right. So now let's move it to closed 1 and we want to add that rule so that it updates everywhere as well. So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to actually add that custom field here. So let's add it to this project and we're going to call this deal status like so that we can now add this rule in. So we're going to state, actually let's do it from this section. We're going to state that when it's moved to closed 1, we're going to set our deal status to closed 1 like so. And so if we keep going, this way, what's going to happen, I'm going to have to do it here as well. I'm going to add this rule here that when the deal status is updated to closed 1, and let's just go a step further. Let's add the inverses. Closed 1, and then let's add the trigger that states the opposite. Closed 1. There we go. So now whether we move it there physically or we just change it in the drop down in either project, the same action is going to happen. So we're going to move this to closed 1 and excuse me. We're going to move this to closed 1. And now that everything's been updated as far as rules go, we're going to see that it's also in the closed 1 section as well. So when we get here now, there's so many other things we can do. Right now we can say, okay, great, we've got closed 1. We can notify a project manager. We can create a task for someone. We can create a task we can create a project, from this lead. We can create it from a template. Like there's so many options for us at this stage. And so think about the possibilities. Think about how you can apply this inside of your company. But that's how, it really could move through. And so we're going to do one more thing here. Actually, let's do a couple more things. So I'm going to add in my email subscribers or my newsletter subscribers. So again, if we're going through this manually or we now have a form, we can create a secondary form, right? Like so. And we can say name, email address, and this is our email subscriber list, right? Maybe this is an embedded form as well. So please, or no, sign up for our weekly newsletter. Like so. So maybe now this is an embedded form, right? Where we're getting their email, we're getting their name, and so on. And then we can now add this to another specific list. So that's one way we can do it. Let's go and create that. And I'm gonna copy this link form. Or we can have it in our existing form that if we know that they're an email subscriber, we can simply go like this, add them as subscriber. And then like we've done previously, we can then multi-home them to the subscriber list as well. And again, you make the decision on which way you want to go. Do you want to just use filters like so, and go by lead status, anything that contains subscriber, right? We can do that. That's one option. But I also like the option where we're multi-homing it. So I'm going to create that rule for us just because we're here. And that's not a rule. There we go. So now we're going to create this, that any trigger that has that lead status of subscriber, we're going to add it to a new project called newsletter subscribers, and we're going to put it in the subscriber section. So let's release this filter and let's add Alex Murphy as a subscriber, and let's see Asana do its thing. There we go. So now we can see a list of all of our subscribers. I'm going to have to add in the custom fields that we have in our contacts view. So that's why I added them earlier. So now we have company, was it email? Contact email address. There we go. That's probably all we need is a name and email address for this. If in our form that we created, if in the form that we created, we had, a drop down for what their interests are, right? We can have this be embedded into our website, and then that can populate this. So we can now have a custom drop down field for the different interests to know what information to send them in that weekly newsletter. All right. So I'm going to do one more thing, and then I think that should be it for today. I'm going to create another project. It's going to be a blank project, and we're going to call this client list. It's going to be really simple, but if we want to get a realistic snapshot of all of the active clients and former clients and their different stages, or our partners, right, we can now create different sections. So we can go active client. Oh, didn't mean to press tabby. Former clients. And then we can have another one called vendor partner, maybe. All right, so let's go back to our contact list. We're going to have 2 that are subscribers and active clients, like so. And then we're going to have 1 that is a former client and 1 that is a partner. Okay, and so like we've done already, I'm gonna have to add those custom fields if I want to see them in this view. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna add that lead status. What did I call it? Contact status. Let's go back and see. It is lead status. Maybe I didn't add it. Let's edit that field. Nope, I didn't add it. There we go. Let's search it. Lead status. Perfect. So now let's go back. I'm just going to do one of them for us. So we're going to create another rule. Remember I said we're going to have lots of rules, right? If you get to the point where you're at too many rules, then you may just want to then create them in another project and then multi-home them there. But by doing it this way and limiting the amount of rules we use, we can make sure that we automate this as much as possible. So I'll do one of them for you. And it's going to be really simple, something that we've done a million times, but whether it's moved to the section, sorry, not section, it'd be lead status. So whether we are updating the lead status or we're moving it to another project, and this is active client, we are going to add it to another project. And so this is going to go to our client list under active client, like so. And then we're going to create another rule for Taco the dog. So again, the lead status is former client. We're going to add it to that other project, put it under former client, and then I'm going to do one more for our partner vendor down below. Just like so. So you should be an expert at rules by now if you already weren't. And then we're going to move it to another project or add it to another project and put it in the vendor partner section. Great. So let me just uncheck this really quickly. Oh, almost messed that up. So let's go back in and let's update that rule. So where was it? Active client, did I not save it? Maybe I didn't save it. So here we go. Lead status is set to any of partner or vendor, like so. We're going to move it to that client list and put it in vendor partner. We're going to create that rule. There we go. So now let's do this. Uncheck these like so. And this one we are going to remove from active clients. Same with this one. And this one will move from former clients like so. Now let's go check out our client list. There we go. So we've got all 4 of our contacts. Now we've got them separated. So again, you can do this by filtering, but if you do want to have that quick view, because maybe there are people over here that like are on the customer service side of things, and their responsibility is just servicing your active clients. So this can be one way where we can come in, right? We can view all the different fields. I would suggest turning these on in all of the projects we've created, but now we can see last modified on, created on, created by. So if anyone is responsible for checking up with customers and we can see that Alex Murphy hasn't been contacted or no notes have been added since 3 months ago, then that's one way that you can use these tools. So that's it for now. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to see what you come up with in your space. Again, there's no limit and no end to what you can do within Asana. So love to see what you come up with. If you like this video, please like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and share this video with someone that you know who might find this helpful, because it's truly through people like you liking, commenting, and sharing that we're able to get this video in front of more people who need it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.